Hello there, all. Happy evening. Happy Wednesday evening to all of you. Here I am, as promised, on our Wednesday evenings, Confessions of a Boss Lady. And I'm just making sure that I'm sharing to my group and that I'm doing all the different things to ensure that we get out there to everyone. So, my name is Patricia Ferreira. I am a women's success coach and transformational speaker. Hi, Helena. Hi, Bernadette. Awesome. So wonderful. You're beautiful as well. We have to talk about your femme dances. So today I promised that I would kick off my Confessions of a Boss Lady live. And the idea is for us to find a space where we can come together and share some of the thoughts, experiences that we have as working women, stay-at-home moms, and just achievement-driven women that are looking to move forward and to reach an even higher level of success. Okay, I'm joining you guys today from the YMCA. They have a women's empowerment event today that I'm attending, and today's topic is about eliminating racism and empowering women. So it's been an awesome opportunity to spend some time here. And our topic today is mom guilt. So I'd love to hear from some of you. If you could just put down in the post, maybe give me some thumbs up, some love if you have in the past experienced mom guilt. And I know this is a very sensitive topic for many boss ladies out there because we're women. Hey, Megan, so many people joining and sharing this space with me. As achievement-driven women, we would like to have a space on this planet where we could do all the things that we desire, right? Find a space where we can achieve and find fulfillment in all the life areas, including work, including being a mom, being a sister, being a daughter, keeping our other areas of our lives also in order. And in doing this, we find sometimes where we're dealing with mom guilt. So I wanted to bring the topic up and hear from you guys about some of the moments in your experience of being a mother where they were defining in terms of, not being able to go to, school trips. I was a mother that traveled. And I traveled to far away places. Sometimes I was in Europe, sometimes I was in Latin America, and I wasn't, a 3-hour flight away, let alone being able to attend different things from school. And I think mom guilt is something that I dealt with very early on. I had my youngest, and he was conceived while I was still under, taking birth control. So for me, the minute I found out that I was pregnant and having a baby, the two came together, the mom guilt and the news of being pregnant, because I just felt so responsible for his health. And there was more there than just the typical responsibility that we feel as moms when we're becoming pregnant. So there was a lot of guilt around what could I have done differently. And for me, that was very early on because this was in conception. Imagine moving forward towards not being able to attend classes. So we have several types of mom guilt. We have the younger moms that are dealing with not being able to participate with their children in their school activities, or not being able to dedicate enough time to their children, or having to split their time between several children or several activities. And that brings on that type of mom guilt. And this is for mothers that are stay-at-home moms. They're not necessarily career women. They're still stay-at-home moms. They're dedicating their life to staying at home and bringing up their kids, but there's still so many areas that they have to divide their support into. So I feel like there's that type of mom guilt. There's also the Bernadette says, I have felt mom guilt. So yes, there's also the older children, right? As you get older and your children get older, you start to look at how they are choosing to be, the life decisions that they're making, the areas in their lives that they are dedicating their time. You start to really experience how what you've taught them and the values that you instilled in them are really being manifested in the world. And a lot of times that brings mom guilt, right? Because it shows, you start to feel like every decision they make is a manifestation or a result or an outcome of something that you taught them, or always thinking that you could do better, always thinking that you could do more. So I'd love to hear maybe some concepts or some experiences that you've had around mom guilt that are particular to your experiences, not just what I had as children. One of the things that I wanted to make sure I mentioned is how to learn to have self-care around this mom guilt and some self-compassion. It is a typical thing to be worried about your children, but this constant feeling of I could be doing more, or I should be doing more, or I should give more of myself is sometimes very deteriorating. It's depleting, it's exhausting. And the important thing is to remember that, you know, the whole concept around putting on your mask first, right? The importance of self-care, the importance of self-love, so that there's enough there for you to give to your children. And at the end of the day, understand that children would always have memories of beautiful moments with you. They have much more memories and positive memories a lot of times than they do negative ones. If you're a mom that's seriously concerned about how your children are developing and how they feel about you, it's because you're engaged. You're engaged in motherhood and you're looking to make a difference. And that alone makes the experience that the children has very powerful and very positive. So I invite you today to understand that mom guilt is real, but you get to put some self-care around that concept. I have Bernadette saying, children and all people, remember how you made them feel. Yes, that's very important to know that they're going to remember how you made them feel. If you have a limited amount of time to spend with them and you dedicate that time to them in terms of quality time, that is enough for them to feel loved and to feel cared for. I'm going to walk out because the conference is beginning to end, and I want to make sure we spend some time talking about this topic. So, yes, Bernadette, that's absolutely right. Children are always going to remember how you make them feel. So, if you are not able to spend quantity time with them, ensure that the time you do spend with them is time where you're able to understand their thoughts, get a feel for their emotions, hear about experiences that they're having in that present moment. And those little moments with them will allow you to feel a lot less mom guilt when you're having to work. Another thing that's huge around this topic is modeling. When you're a mom, most of the time they are watching you more in terms of what you're doing than what you're saying. And if you're dedicating your time to the things that enrich your life and the things that ultimately are for their best interests, they will be children that model that in the future. I was hearing the other day how children that are taught to always go to school, like not have absences, are children that typically end up being the most responsible at work and the type of people that are most keeping up to their commitments and just responsible in terms of how they show up in life. And that's just a little thing like allowing them to know the importance of school attendance. Megan's sharing, so true. They pay close attention to behaviors and patterns. Yes, they do. It's all about modeling as a parent. It's all about having that important quality conversation, timely conversation. The conversations about relationship building and the conversations around sex, conversations around drugs, all these very difficult conversations that as parents, we sometimes don't really love that aspect of it, or we shy away from it. If we want to establish the trust and the relationship that we want with our kids and diminish some of the guilt, it's about having these conversations, right? And being there when they need us for these conversations. So I'm loving this topic, and I love that it's one of the first topics that were provided and suggested during the BossLady Confessions of a BossLady, because as women that are looking to achieve the life that we desire, we tend to think that it's about sacrificing. And the reality is that it's really an opportunity for us to have it all. Hey Jennifer, how are you? Awesome to join us. So yes, as boss ladies, we're always thinking, well, I have to sacrifice this part of my life, or I have to give something up in order to have what I feel is most important. And in that sacrifice, we think that things like feeling guilty about going out there and, going for what we want, which should be all. We as moms, as women, as boss ladies, have the right. It is our birthright to go out there and seek everything that we want in this life, and to find the right blend for us. I learned very early on that balance was something I was not going to be able to accomplish. The word in itself was very difficult for me to even fathom. How could you balance a life with 3 children, a husband, parents that need you, a career in which you're looking to move forwards and upward, a financial experience that would allow you to have the things that you're looking for? There is just not a realistic expectation behind the word balance. But I do know that it's real for us to have work-life blend. And that's the opportunity to blend the things in our lives that are important to us, the things that we value, that we can bring them together and create this flavor, let's say, that's particular to us, that includes all the things that are important to us. And that could mean, dinner is what's important for you and your family, or maybe Sunday brunch, or Sunday church, or spending a couple of weekends together a month. And those be the moments that allow you to work in being a mom and work in having those moments of quality time. So I invite you to consider releasing the mom guilt and actually inviting creativity into your life as to how you're going to manage the different areas and how you're going to blend the different areas of your life. I invite you to give your children more credit, right, than we actually do, and understand that they do see in you a lot more than just the time that you spend with them. Also, give them the credit for knowing that what you do is actually for them and in their best interests. One of the things that I've experienced now as I have older children are the stories that they play back to me. Things that I don't even remember, things that I probably stressed in their moment, and they tell me stories of memories that are beautiful. And I was probably, blaming myself throughout the whole process, or feeling like it wasn't enough throughout the whole process, or the typical self-sabotage around, I could be more, I could do more, I could provide more for them. And when I hear the stories that they read back to me, hey Sherlon, hey Tracy, and how excited they were in those moments, and how much appreciation and gratitude they experienced in those moments where I was actually feeling like it wasn't enough, or I was probably beating myself up about maybe having made it a little bit late to that one event, or not having done the birthday party the way, the big hoopla that I originally dreamed of. So really give them more credit, and give yourself more credit. Allow yourself to see this task that you have as a mom a little bit more compassionately, self-compassion, so that you could bring so much more grace into this relationship with yourself and with your children, rather than the typical beating ourselves up. So, hey Tracy, how are you? We're hanging out here talking about mom guilt. And I know that you're not a mom yet, Tracy, but I know you have a lot of clients that are, and I'm sure that it's part of the conversations that you have with them of how can I manage a business or manage a corporate career while having children. As you guys know, I work a lot with fempreneurs. These are female entrepreneurs that are either relaunching their business, or they're creating their side gig, or they're creating what we're now calling their 9-to-5. And that brings with it a lot of guilt, because these are women that are not only, maintaining a 9-to-5, but are looking for another stream of income, or are looking for another way in which they can bring significance into this planet. And yes, we could have it all. Tracy says, of course it is. Yes, this is so helpful. Thank you, Tracy. So yes, I truly believe that we can have it all. You can go out there and you could do everything you desire, and you could also give your children the love and the upbringing and the support and the partnership that they are looking for. So this is what I think and believe to be true, having spent all my years growing, working and living with bringing up children. I started working at a very early age. I also had children at a very early age and grew through corporate America in that process. And I know there's so many women out there on a daily basis keeping the wheels going, right? Keeping the wheels turning in their lives, in their business, and in their families with their children. So I'd love to hear some creative ways in which you're able to keep this life, your own life blend, moving forward and upwards. And I'd also love to hear some shares around some experiences that you've had with mom guilt. I've learned that when you share and when you voice some of the emotions or emotional experiences that you have in life, it allows you to just release and feel much better about that experience. So I'd love for you guys to share. And tell me what you think about Confessions of a Boss Lady. My intention is to have a conversation and bring in confessions and also bring in some guests, other boss ladies that have experiences around different areas. So I'd love it if you can send me some suggestions as to what topics would be a good idea coming next week. The idea is for us to create this space where we could be vulnerable, where we could be unapologetically authentic and fully self-expressed in our desire to be boss ladies, and to also grow into potentially divine boss ladies, which is much more feminine energy, much more nurturing, and much more self-compassion. So please put your comments below. Let me know what you thought about tonight. Send me some suggestions about topics moving forward. And I'm super excited about this new space that we're creating for all of us. Have an awesome evening. Thank you so much. Bye.